This firefighter goes beyond his call of duty, gets the most pleasant surprise of his life.
But before we start, please take a moment to give this video a like, subscribe to Happy World, and hit the bell so you'll never miss these great stories.
Henry Ford, the owner of Ford Motor Company, said, "Do more for the world than the world does for you. That is success." And who proves his words? Who are these people who work for the sake of goodness and humanity? What do they look like? Well, our real-world heroes are the police officers, soldiers, and firefighters. Although not all of them do their job with seriousness, those who help in making this planet a better place every day do so much. Yes, definitely one's job title isn't enough to judge them, but this specific jobs come with a responsibility, so many look to them as saviors. So the reason why we're talking about saviors is today's story, the amazing story of a firefighter, a man who with just one emotional decision not only saved but changed many lives. Mark Haddon, a young family man, worked as a firefighter in Myrtle Beach, North Carolina. A person who loves his job stands out of the queue of ordinary people, and so does Mark. He loved the fact that every day his work gave him wonderful opportunities for saving people's lives and making this world a better place in small ways. Every day, Mark has to deal with different people and tackle situations accordingly. He always puts in more efforts than required in his job. Out of all the odd circumstances he always stays prepared for, what happened on this shift was out of his imagination. Every day when Mark gets off from the office, he's always eager to meet his beautiful wife Beth Haddon, an instructional coach in an elementary school, and their two sons Will and Parker, who complete the Haddon family. Beth and the kids have always been supportive of this man's risky job and untimely calls from work. Mark is an amazing husband and loving father doing a dignified job. One emergency call changed their lives in a magical way. Mostly the firefighters stay back in their center and wait for anyone in case they need their help. If everything's around the fire brigade center is quiet and smoothly going, they don't have much to worry about. That's how their every other day goes. However, some days suddenly become more hectic for any ordinary human to bear. As Caroline Paul, an American writer and speaker, said the right thing, most people go to the office and sit at a desk. When firefighters go to the office, we might birth a baby in the morning, save a drowning surfer in the afternoon, and run into a fire at night. What could be more interesting than that? November 14, 2011 was not like regular days, as a sequence of shocking events were waiting for Mark Haddon, the firefighter. Mark and his teammates were almost assuming it to be a day without any action. However, the moment all of them sat to have their lunch, they received an emergency call. This was going to be the greatest thing Mark has ever done in his life for others and for his family. It was just a somewhat normal call, said Mark in an interview. At least that's what he thought at first, adding, "Very quickly we realized it was going to be a life changer for us." The woman on the other side was suffering from serious abdomen pain. As a firefighter, Mark is trained to help people in many circumstances. He could never transfer a call to another emergency department in an emergency like this, so the fire brigade is generally called on the spot with an ambulance in case of medical emergencies. Without wasting any more time, he took to the address and hurried towards it. Mark reached the location as soon as possible. The moment he saw the lady who called it, Mark understood. The woman was pregnant, and the abdominal pain was that she was going through labor as contractions were going on. She was close to giving birth. Although usually the pregnant woman would be taken to the hospital, the scene was more tricky here, so Mark and his teammate had to make quick decisions. As Mark and his team were supposed to decide if they were going to take the lady to the hospital or what else to do. Time was running out fast, and the team was now sure the lady couldn't take it for another 15-20 minutes. They made their calculations, and according to them, she was about to give birth in less than 5. "It was a pretty serious call for us," said Mark. "They were in the parking lot about to move towards the hospital when this decision was taken. It was clear they had no time to rush to the hospital and that the team of firefighters had to deliver the baby. This wasn't the first time they were about to conduct a delivery. Firefighters are specially trained for situations like these." They were going to deliver the baby. Mark recalled about that moment. "We got her on some oxygen, started some IVs, and literally as we were getting ready to leave the parking lot in the ambulance, my partner said, 'We're about to deliver a baby right here.'" Mark was aware it was a critical situation, and he wasn't aware of was the fact that this was about to be the best thing he'd ever be a part of. Mark quickly sprang into action. The first thing they did was cut her clothes so they could easily deliver the baby. All of a sudden, a regular day at the office changed to an exceptionally hustling one to save 2 lives. Although some of Mark's teammates have faced such situations before, Mark only saved lives. He never delivered a baby yet, so this was more significant for Mark than anyone else on his team. Both the mother and the baby girl were safe, but the struggling thing was yet to be revealed by the lady. The baby girl was given to Mark right after her birth. This was an emotional moment for the young firefighter, but he wasn't aware that his whole family would be thankful for this moment for the rest of their lives. She struggled for the minute she was put in my hands, hadn't recalled holding the newly born 6-pound, 2 ounces, 2.8 kilos girl. For a baby, it's very important to cry as it helps in removing the excess water in the lungs, nose, and mouth. She was breathing properly but didn't cry. It was amazing to hear her cry, Mark said, thinking of the moment. After the baby girl was delivered, Mark and the team took them straight to the hospital. When everything seemed fine, a sad discovery was waiting to be revealed. Although both the mother and the baby were healthy and doing fine, the mother told her true condition to the doctors. She couldn't take care of the baby and she wanted to put the newborn up for adoption. She wasn't a minor, so why did she want to give up her own very first baby girl? The answer was disheartening. Within a few hours of the baby girl and her mother taken to the hospital, it was clear the lady was a single mother. She didn't have anyone to look after the baby. She was already so caught up in taking care of her teenage son that it seemed impossible for her to bring up another child, especially when she was struggling financially and emotionally. Every mother wants her baby to be happy, even if the unfortunate circumstances bound them to give their babies up. Similarly, this woman was concerned about her child too, and that's when she shared her concerns with the doctors. The doctors told about the woman's condition to the firefighter team who were involved in delivering the baby. When Mark was getting an update from the doctor about the lady and her baby, he got the news the little girl he just delivered was going to be put up for adoption. All of a sudden, it reminded him of Beth, his loving wife, for an obvious reason. Mark was disheartened after realizing the first baby he ever delivered was put up for adoption. He wanted to share his feelings with someone, and who else could be better than Beth? So Mark called Beth to speak his heart out. He told about the whole incident at first, and he was excited when he said the first part of the story, but his voice was filled with disappointment while telling the second half. Beth sensed that it was heartbreaking for Mark. He himself is a father of 2, and he felt sad for the poor baby who's going to be put through adoption agencies and possibly won't get a nice family. He told Beth about how he jokingly told the doctors he'll be her father, and Beth's response was amazing. He called me and he was ecstatic. I mean, he delivered a baby, and who in the world gets to deliver a baby in their lifetime that's not a doctor, she recalls in an interview. The couple already had 2 boys, but they always longed for a girl. However, adoption was never their plan. They liked it as an alternative. Just like Mark's funny statement in front of the doctors to be the infant's father, Beth also said something similar to Mark when she got to know about the special angelic little girl. So far, Beth only knew that Mark delivered a baby girl and jokingly questioned, "Can we keep her?" That's when Mark told his wife about the mother and daughter's present situation and how the baby was going to be put up for adoption. Beth was touched after listening to their story, and she wanted to go and meet this woman and her newborn. This sweet little girl could be their dream come true, but things weren't as easy as it seems in the first place. The couple badly wanted to have a baby girl, and this seemed like an opportunity made for them in heaven, but was it actually possible, or were they being impractical? Ever since we had the boys, we knew that we wanted more children, but I was preterm with them, so we knew it wasn't possible to have more babies, said Beth. They never thought of this emergency situation to result in the greatest hope for them. The only question was if the birth mother was ready to give her baby to the couple who was now looking for it. I'll never forget that day. It was a day when a lot of things came full circle, the couple recalls of the fateful day. The couple was off to meet the baby and her mother the very next one, and there it was, the most miraculous moment of Mark and Beth's life. My heart just went out to this woman, Beth recalls the moment she met him. Beth went straight to meet them after her school working hours were over. She was at the hospital holding a prayer book in her hands. She just wanted to help the lady in any way she could, but she never imagined this woman was going to change her life forever. The two were talking when a doctor arrived in the room just to take a look if the woman was doing fine. The doctor was also in the room to inform the lady that everything was set up for the adoption process. In that moment with Beth in the room, the woman was more concerned than ever to get a good family for her daughter's future, and within a few moments she said something that was the best present for Beth. The lady looked right into Beth's eyes and said, "I want you to adopt my baby. I can't give my baby to someone I've never met." Her blessings meant so much to her that she instantly called Mark, who remembers those as one of the first joyful moments for him. The moment Beth saw the baby girl, she was in love with her. Her motherly instincts were awakened just by looking at this infant who was sleeping without a care in the world. She remembers calling Mark at the very moment and said, "I think we just had a baby." Within hours of Beth visiting the newborn with her birth mother, the couple signed temporary custody papers. Within 2 days of her birth, the little soul was welcomed to the Haddon family. They named her Rebecca Grace Haddon, and they call her Gracie for short. The parents' main concern after adopting a child is whether to tell their kid about the adoption and when and how. That part was also taken care of greatly. After bringing Gracie home out of excitement, the first words that came out of Beth to her husband were, "Oh my gosh, we have to pay for a wedding." After all, she just had a girl out of nowhere after 2 boys. Yes, it was a dream come true, but the couple's feelings were far better than their expectations. Although it was just temporary custody, soon the little angel became part of the Haddon family and filled the boys' hearts with so much delight. Making a journey back memory lane, Mark never thought about a regular office day changing into nothing but his best day. The girl he just delivered became his family. Within the same year, the Haddon family got her full legal custody. The couple always wanted to adopt a baby girl, but they left it completely in the hands of time and God. Their prayers were finally answered, and Beth said it was like winning the lottery. "To see my wife's face light up when we brought Gracie home, I can't even begin to tell you," Mark said about his wife's reaction. Gracie's story was so touching that she was admired in the community. It was so great that their neighborhood was up for their help. Everyone who knew their story was fascinated by the idea, and Gracie was the whole society's favorite. "I don't know what we would have done because we have definitely outgrown our home, so we're just truly blessed to have friends that'll put together for us like this," said Mark, who couldn't believe all the support he was getting from people. With all this generosity, and especially the Haddon's contractor Buddy Satterfield, who assisted in adding a fourth bedroom for the new family member. They divided the dining room from the family room, and after this partition, there was a fourth room for Gracie. After Gracie's birth, the Myrtle Beach Fire Department awarded Mac Haddon a Firefighter of the Year award for his determination at the scene of the emergency, also for giving Gracie an opportunity to be a part of his family. The man with a generous heart still said that his biggest award was his daughter, who came into his life as a blessing. The couple managed to capture her early days of growth with the amazing bond she shares with her brothers Will and Parker. "We told her pretty much from day one. I've taken her to the back of the ambulance where she was born, so she knows, no doubt about it," Mark said in an interview. She was always kept aware of the truth of her adoption, unlike many families who prefer for the kids to be mature enough to know the truth of that. The couple was never in favor of the idea of giving Gracie a surprise. The family decided to tell her slowly as per her age. Gracie's still a bit young to understand all the things practically. Both Beth and Mark know the importance of this moment, and they still have to explain it to Gracie in detail when she's all grown up. For now, Gracie seems to have her own outlook about things. Gracie, who's just 6 years old, is aware of the whole story of her birth. She sweetly said when she was asked about it, "My daddy delivered me in the back of an ambulance and helped me take my first breath." This is because the couple wanted her to know where she came from, and therefore they've put more emphasis on it. And the couple's certain that they'll be by her side as they are now whenever she needs them. Gracie's closest to her father, Mark, and the duo shares a special bond. Mark even went on saying, "She's my best friend. We share an amazing bond." They love to go out to their favorite restaurant, Chick-fil-A, and prefer to talk and develop more understanding among themselves every time. Their partners in pranks, as Mark adds, were tighter than thieves. Mark Haddon decided to retire from firefighting and now works on a volunteer basis. Without the job, Mark's days are busier than ever with Gracie by his side. "Every day I look forward to waking her up, getting her ready for school, then picking her up later on," said Mark. Mark doesn't regret anything in his life since he adopted Gracie and says he's more than happy with Gracie's presence. He said, "She's contributed to all of our lives. She's part of our family, and that's absolutely the way it is. We love her. Gracie's become a wonderful kid who's smarter than her years." Gracie will be 7 in November. The girl enjoys playing soccer and practicing gymnastics while wearing her bows and tutus. Other times when she's not keeping herself busy, her parents take her to a daycare. Last year, Gracie started her schooling in the same school where Beth teaches. Will, now 15, and Parker, 13, have been Gracie's tutors, and Beth tells about Gracie being a tough little joker because she has 2 big brothers who've trained her right. They're protective of their younger sister and give her pieces of advice and tips that'll help her as she grows. When Gracie first became part of the Haddon family, Will said, "I just love her to pieces." The family of 5 is obviously increasing every day. They share family time on vacations, picnics, playing outdoor family games. Beth and Mark sometimes say that they still pinch themselves to be sure that it's not a dream, and Gracie is their girl in real life now. Christmas is a wonderful time for them. As their kids are growing older, the couple admires each and every moment they share together. They look forward to the future as an exciting passageway to more happiness. Being the parents of 3 healthy and great kids, the couple have never traded this for anything else. "This kid cracks me up. That raspy voice and her confidence melt my heart. I pray that she'll always have the confidence to be exactly who God created her to be," posted Beth as a caption for her and Gracie's picture. They both enjoy doing girly stuff together, and Gracie learns everything from her mom. "If even one child is placed in a family that's as loving and supportive as ours is, then that's our message," says Beth, talking about Gracie and adoption. She's quite certain that Gracie's the best choice in their lives. When people talk about the Haddon family, they often say the couple saved Gracie's life, but they look at it in a completely different way. "We didn't save her, she saved us." The Haddon family further adds, "She's ours and we loved her. We're truly blessed, for sure."